Hello, my name is John York, and today I will tell you how a simple leaf has become an emblem of hospitality, culture, and contemplation. Tea.
Morning, Teddy. Tea? What?
The ancient plant in 2022 has been produced to an estimated 7 million tons worldwide, with Turkey leading the consumption per capita with 3.5 kilos, followed by Ireland with 2.2 kilos and the United Kingdom with 2 kilos. With such figures, tea deserved a special broadcast. Welcome to Food History Pills. Tea, widely seen as a quintessential British beverage with over 350 years of history, actually traces back much further. The narrative of tea's origin commences in China. According to legend, around 2737 BC, Emperor Shen Nong of China sat beneath a tree while his servant boiled water, and tree leaves inadvertently drifted into the pot. Shen Nong, a famed herbalist, sampled the unintended infusion, which was created from leaves of the Camellia sinensis tree, the progenitor of today's tea. While the veracity of this tale remains uncertain, tea consumption indeed took root in China centuries prior to its introduction in the Western world. Archaeological finds include tea containers found in tombs dating back to the Han Dynasty, 206 BC to 220 AD. However, tea truly entrenched itself as China's national beverage during the Tang Dynasty, 618 to 906 AD. The affection for tea grew to the extent that in the late 8th century, a writer named Lu Yu authored the first comprehensive tea-focused book, the Cha Qing, or Tea Classic. It was shortly after this that tea made its debut in Japan, introduced by Japanese Buddhist monks who had journeyed to China for study. This practice seamlessly intertwined with Japanese culture, as witnessed in the evolution of the tea ceremony, an evolution perhaps stemming from rituals outlined in the Cha Qing. In the unfolding history of tea, Europe found itself somewhat trailing behind. In the latter part of the 16th century, Europeans made initial brief references to tea as a beverage. These mentions mainly emerged from Portuguese individuals residing in the East as traders and missionaries. While some of these individuals might have introduced tea samples to their homeland, it wasn't the Portuguese who pioneered the commercial importation of tea. Instead, this feat was achieved by the Dutch, who, in the final years of the 16th century, began encroaching on Portuguese trade routes in the East. Around the turn of the century, the Dutch established a trading post on Java. In 1606, the first shipment of tea from China to Holland transited through Java. Subsequently, tea swiftly gained popularity among the Dutch elite, diffusing to other continental European nations. However, due to its elevated cost, tea retained its status as a beverage for the affluent. Britain, always somewhat wary of continental fads, had not yet evolved into the tea-drinking nation it stands as today. From 1600, the British East India Company held the sole right to import non-European goods, and it's probable that sailors aboard these vessels occasionally brought tea as presents. However, the earliest documented mention of tea in the country dates back to an advertisement in London's Mercurius Politicus newspaper from September 1658. This notice revealed the availability of China drink, called by the Chinese cha. by other nations te alias tea at a coffee house in Sweeting's Rents within the city. London's inaugural coffee house was established in 1652, and the phrasing in this ad implies that tea was still somewhat novel to the majority of readers, suggesting it remained an intriguing curiosity. The turning point in British tea history arrived with the union of Charles II and Catherine of Braganza. As a Portuguese princess and an ardent tea enthusiast, her fondness for the beverage inaugurated tea as a stylish choice, initially at court and subsequently among the affluent. Seizing on this trend, the East India Company commenced tea imports to Britain, placing its inaugural order in 1664 for 100 pounds of China tea to be shipped from Java. The British embraced tea with an enthusiasm that endures today. It gained popularity within coffee houses, which served not only as relaxation spots, but also as business hubs. However, these establishments were predominantly frequented by middle and upper-class men, as women opted to enjoy tea in their own homes. Nevertheless, its affordability was still beyond the reach of the working class. Contributing to its high cost was an oppressive taxation structure. The initial tea tax on leaves, introduced in 1689, was remarkably steep at 25p in the pound, nearly halting sales. This was later reduced to 5p in the pound by 1692. From that point up until as recently as 1964, when tea duties were ultimately abolished, politicians remained consistently engaged in adjusting the precise rate and mode of tea taxation. Another significant catalyst for tea consumption arose from the dissolution of the East India Company's exclusive control over Chinese trade in 1834. Until that juncture, China predominantly supplied the tea imported to Britain. However, the end of this monopoly compelled the East India Company to explore tea cultivation in India. Given that India had been central to the company's operations and held sway in governance, this move spurred expanded tea farming, particularly commencing in Assam. This endeavour achieved resounding success, prompting escalated production. By 1888, British tea imports from India surpassed those from China for the first time. Independent merchants and ship captains, equipped with swift new clippers featuring streamlined designs, towering masts and expansive sails, eagerly raced to transport tea and reap profits. Notably, a rivalry between British and American merchants led to the famed clipper races during the 1860s. The races embarked from China, with clippers departing the Canton River, traversing the China Sea, crossing the Indian Ocean, rounding the Cape of Good Hope, journeying up the Atlantic, passing the Azores, and entering the English Channel. After being towed by tugs up the River Thames, victory was claimed by the first ship to efficiently unload its cargo at the docks. However, these races came to an end with the inauguration of the Suez Canal, enabling steamships to viably navigate trade routes to China for the first time. The 20th century saw tea become a global commodity. A pivotal development in contemporary tea consumption emerged with the introduction of the tea bag. Although tea bags originated in early 20th century America, their substantial adoption in Britain only materialized during the 1970s. For numerous tea enthusiasts today, it's difficult to fathom life without them. The British ardour for tea persists so strongly that even following the dissolution of the empire, British companies maintain a preeminent position in the global tea trade, and British brands command the international market. From high tea to pop culture references, tea brewed its way into everyday life. Today, tea culture is blossoming anew. From the bustling tea bazaars of Istanbul to the quiet tea rooms of Kyoto, tea unites us all. It's a cup of hospitality, a pot of tradition, a world of flavors and stories. Specialty teas, artisanal practices, and ethical sourcing reflect a renewed appreciation for quality and sustainability. The ancient wisdom of tea's health benefits resonates in modern wellness practices. Its leaves continue to soothe, invigorate, and heal. There you have it. It's over. Feel free to share this episode or any other food history pills. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay always updated with our content here on History Food Channel. And remember, eating is a privilege. Enjoy it. Bye.